All right, well, we are back with another episode with the GOAT of age group racing, Eric Engel. What's it like, man? What's it like being back? You just ran a marathon. We'll get into that later, but what's it like back being fit?
Oh, it feels nice being, yeah, not just sitting on the couch every day and actually doing something. So it feels good.
Yeah. Well, so what is going on today? So we're going to talk about a lot of stuff, and we're not going to sit on one topic. We're going to talk about Gulf Coast this weekend. We're going to talk about some pro triathlon stuff, some Lionel Sanders news, some T100, and then we're going to break down Eric's big marathon. So, a lot to talk about. So, let's dive into Gulf Coast 70.3 this weekend, which start lists are a little up and down, but there's definitely some good oh my gosh, some good, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm blanking. Highlight performers,
Contenders.
contenders. It's a good start list. It's a pretty decent start list for the men. Women's field's a little bit on the softer side. Looks like a lot of them are waiting for Chattanooga the next weekend. But so we'll start with the men's field. It's a big men's field. We're not sure if Sam Appleton is racing. That's conflicted. We just saw
Re-
that Trevor Foley is not racing, unfortunately. He said he came a little sick, which kind of sucks because I thought that it would have been really fun to kind of see him go against Sam. I think those two would have been the headliners, but I was listening to another podcast and they basically put Sam Long as it's his race to lose. Not a lot of people can beat him. What are your thoughts with that?
Don't tell me it was the On
Yeah,
Your Left
it
podcast.
was. It was. It was
Yeah,
like the
I
summer
know.
of Sam, and it was interesting because I was listening to that,
Everybody else.
and Trevor was still in the race, and they didn't even put like Trevor close to Sam. And in my mind, I'm like Trevor. I feel like Trevor's a better athlete than Sam Long right now. But it was like Sam Long's race to lose, which I didn't fully agree with that. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think Trevor, if he was racing, I think he has bigger fish to fry this year, and like Sam has something to prove right now that he didn't have a great race at Texas, and he's behind the eight ball behind everybody else. So I think Trevor's more focused on long distance and Kona and everything else, where Sam wants to go out and hey, I can still win a race. So I think Sam's the fu heads and above favorite for the weekend. He's just gonna bike his brains out and lay it all out there. Which is like yeah, like a guy like if Trevor was racing or Jason West out there and some of the other guys probably won't lay everything on the line and end their season at a 70.3 Gulf Coast where Sam's probably going to give it all he has and try to see what he has on the day. So
Yeah.
I think that's kind of why they set him far and above there. But yeah, to your point, I think Trevor's probably what um, was the best athlete in the field heading
Yeah,
into
and
the
then
race.
you have some notable twos, right? You have like Seth Ryder, right? Last year at Oceanside, Seth had that pretty incredible race. I'm sure he's in good fitness. Not quite sure if he is, but like I would assume that Seth is in really good shape. I thought Jason West was racing. I don't think he is anymore, but I think you have like Mark Dubrick and you have Ari Clow. So, I mean, I do wonder. I'm curious to see how Sam does recover from Texas. I keep hearing that he's doing a lot of big workouts, but like that also makes me a little bit fearful that he comes off of Texas and he's doing a lot of threshold, a lot of VO2 max. And you're thinking, is he well recovered enough? And does it kind of like open the door? Like, I don't think Mark Dubrick is in the same conversation, but I don't know. Like, I think Ari Clow is kind of like on this uprise where he's swimming decent, maybe similar to Sam. I feel like in a race like this where there's not a lot of people, I think Ari's gonna. I don't know. I'm not saying Ari's gonna win the race, but I can definitely see him interrupting the race and being a top three in the same kind of with Seth. Like, I don't. I think those are kind of like my top three, top four. With I'm gonna pick Sam as much as I might not want to. But I think like Seth and Ari will be close in that mix with Dubrick.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a Mark Dubrick show for two-thirds of the race until Sam catches him and then maybe at the end of the bike and runs the race and wins the race. But yeah, I think Mark and Ari will kind of run off the podium there.
Yeah, and like last weekend or weekend before at St. Anthony's, I mean, you saw that sprint finish with Greg Harper and with Sam Appleton. And I don't want to make like too much of that. Like I don't think like Sam Appleton is the same Sam that he was a couple years ago. So I don't want to take the stock like Greg Harper is like all of a sudden just going to be like riding near the front, and like I mean because he kind of got demolished pretty hard to Dallas in the bike where maybe that was like a soft ride for him or maybe you can't look much into that ride at Dallas, but I'm gonna be curious to see how he kind of how he showcases. But he did run really really well, he ran well at St. Anthony's, so that'll be interesting to see how he does.
Yeah.
But you're picking Sam for the win. No one's gonna be close to him. You think he's just gonna bike 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes into people and game over?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we'll see on the swim. I mean, he had a good, I guess I could say an ocean swim, not as much of an open water swim as Gulf Coast will be. But still, he had a decent swim in the ocean at Oceanside, so I don't think it'll be that far back. But yeah, obviously Mark Dubrick's an amazing swimmer. Be out front, flat, fast bike, so not the same kind of undulation that Oceanside have. So guys might stay out a little bit more longer than they did at Oceanside before Sam runs them down. So, but I think yeah, inevitable Sam will kind of catch him and make the pass and give it all he has at the end there. But I think
Did,
yeah, Mark's gonna have a great race as well.
did you see that controversy after Texas about like the quote unquote swim controversy about how there's like miscommunication about where the pros went and Sam was making these claims that he he lost 3 minutes. Like, once they kind of went almost to the canal and they took that right, he said at that point going forward, like his gap opened up because he went the correct way and the other people went the quote unquote shortcut. And I'm thinking to myself, like, how in the world do you lose 3 to 4 minutes in a 600-meter section, right? Like you do the math on that and you do the math on the distance, and you're like, yeah, that doesn't add up, right? Like that distance that you supposedly added on doesn't equate to 3 to 4 minutes that you've lost. So it's like I wonder in a race like this where it's a little bit softer if his gap opens more in the swim because of you don't have like I just want like a Texas where he's gonna balloon more because it's not as big as of a race. But I still think he's going to ride through. But I'd be curious if that gap is 3, 4 minutes.
Well,
Uh,
that's one of those things you tell yourself anything to soften the blow.
mm,
After my marathon, which we'll get into, I typed into Chat GPT everything that happened, and he softened the blow for me and kind of let me down easy and gave me some things to take away. So maybe Sam typed into Chat GPT, "Hey, the guys took a shortcut, and what did it cost me?" And it said 3 minutes. So maybe that's what he's hanging his hat on there.
yeah, yeah, for sure. ChatGPT is great for that. I mean, if you ever want to feel good about
Yeah,
something, just put in,
or
oh,
bad.
oh, you know what I mean. But yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
you could say, "Hey, roast me," and it roasts you pretty good. Yeah, let's go over to the women's race. Um, I think it's a kind of a three-horse race there
Yeah.
from the headliners that we have for the start list, kind of led by Danielle Lewis, Grace Alexander, and Victoria Lope. Um, Victoria is obviously the amazing swimmer. See her first out of the water with Danielle a number of minutes behind, but she's got the bike run prowess to hopefully catch everyone if that's her game plan. But I think Vittoria could probably go the whole distance and have Danielle not catch her. But I think that's kind of going to be your three athletes to watch on the day.
Yeah. The one person, and I was thinking about this person's name because I remember in Dallas when Jackie won and she was battling somebody, and the Carrie Girona is the one that was second at Dallas. And I mean, I remember, I think the Canadian Jaminicki, my gosh, Dominikia Jaminicki.
Chimaniki, yeah.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I think she's an Olympian, which I mean, like obviously, like you're of pretty high ability. So you kind of like I think about those two going in there, and I wonder if that Carrie Girona athlete, and I don't know how well she swims because Dallas was a pretty short swim. And I always question Victoria's bike and running. So I'm gonna put a soft push into Carrie being third, and I'm gonna pick Grace Alexander for the win. I think she had like a great season last year. I think looking at this year, and I think it just depends on how well Grace runs and how well Danielle Lewis bikes and runs up. But but that's gonna be. I think that'll be a closer race than what we're thinking. Like I'd imagine a couple minutes. Like I don't think this is gonna be a blowout, but first, second, third, I think will be close. Because Grace Alexander is a tremendous swimmer, so it'd be fun to kind of see how that race dynamic plays out and what improvements Grace has made over the off season. So yeah, it'll be fun. But it's a pretty flat course, right? Not a lot to it. I mean, it is an ocean swim, so it could be suspect. I mean, the weather looks pretty decent. Looks like it's gonna be pretty warm. I think it's gonna be a low of 70, right? So humidity will be high. But none of that really is going to affect the pro race to that. Flat bike, nothing to it. Everything's pretty flat and fast. So, I mean, I think Sam Long rode 150, 152 there last year when he won. So it's an crazy fast bike course. So,
Yeah, I think your carry anomaly is an anomaly because I'm seeing some 33, 34 minute swims and some
oh no.
128, 140 minute runs. So I think it was a good day in Dallas on a short swim. So
Okay.
your wild card. I'm gonna trump your wild card there. So sorry.
Okay. Well,
Um, but
maybe she's made
yeah,
big
but
swim improvements, but I mean,
yeah,
so she's going to swim with Danielle Lewis, right? So like she'll be in that
yep.
30-minute range. Um, and then, yeah.
Bike,
Okay. Dang.
try to bike with her, but yeah, yeah. But
Okay.
I think yeah, Grace Alexander. I'm gonna go with
Ooh.
I'm gonna go with Victoria, Grace, and then Danielle Lewis to round out the podium. I'm gonna say
Wow.
she doesn't make the catch. Too much
Okay.
gap out of the water.
Okay. Fair, fair. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. All right. So, pro triathlon right now. A lot of races have been happening. You've seen a lot of cards falling, some cards rising. Um, so who is your like pro triathlete who's really hot right now? Like whose card is like burning brightly right now?
I mean, it's easy to say Christian Blumenthal after the hot streak he's been on. But I think, I mean, I'm gonna go with Hayden Wild right now. I mean, I think he's pretty untouchable with kind of what he's been racing. And I mean, if you just look at, I mean, what did he win by in his last race? Like couple, like 5, 6 minutes or something. Like that's just, I mean, class act. Like especially that shorter distance. Like I mean, that's just amazing. What Christian did in Texas was pretty amazing against that field, but um, what Hayden did at T100 to blow away a field of that caliber of short course and long course athletes, like that's just pretty classic. So to see him come across short course to long course and be that hot is, I mean, he's been hot for the last 6 to 9 months now since he kind of came back from his injury.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a good pick. I mean, I think Hayden, it's like, when I feel like the US centric fan base, when he goes to T100 and he blows it away, it does make you question how competitive those races are, right? To see somebody win by 6 minutes is like, man, that's amazing. But then it's like, I mean, was Hayden racing me? Like, was I there? You know what I mean? It's kind of like one of those things, right? Where you do question that. And I think I saw the women's start list for the upcoming 200, and that thing looks freaking stacked. Like that's going to be a great
Yeah.
race coming up. Um, but yeah, Hayden's an interesting pick. Just with, I mean, I'm sure he wasn't in great shape when KB just ran through him, But it'd be interesting to see how his season progresses. Like no doubt as he moves through it. My pick is Solveig Lofseth. I think she she is just on the rise, and I question if anybody's gonna be able to beat her this year over Ironman distance. Like I think PTM put out that poll that is anybody gonna win, the Ironman Pro Series, the Ironman World Championship, and 70.3 World Championship. I think she's gonna win two of them. I don't know if she's gonna win all three, but I think like the way that she's running and that she's biking and her swim is suspect, but man, I just think that she's on this level right now that, somebody was talking about how she's kind of like parallel to Danielle Reef, where she was kind of untouchable. And I think the way that she's now running off of this bike, like Kat does it, but Kat doesn't do it off of like huge bikes. And Solveig's running these things off of big bikes, and I think it's just, I don't think anybody can beat her. I just don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at her like stats from her last like 10 races or so, and looks like she's podium in every single race except for the world champs in Marbella. She took sixth, looks like. But it
Still,
was first, third, first, third, first, sixth, second, first. Um, yeah, it's pretty incredible.
and six,
And
I think
before
six.
that,
Go ahead.
before that, it was like 13th, 16th, 5th, 48th. So she kind of came on, and when she came on, it was, yeah, pretty incredible.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you were to pick anybody who could beat her, right? Like it's going to happen. I mean, it does Lucy have the capacity to beat her? I mean, you put them at world championships, put all of them together. I mean, like, is Lucy the only one? I mean, Taylor finally ran a good marathon. She finished it. Um, but the marathon still wasn't as competitive. I mean, I'm just looking at like who is that person that's going to beat her, or is Kat going to ride harder and unleash that 2:47 marathon she did at Kona or something?
Yeah. Well, that's who I have in my hot seat is Lucy Charles. I think
Ooh,
um, not that she's not having a good performance. I mean, she just obviously won. She and first triathlon she'd entered in a while. She won up against Annie Hogg, which is good to see her out racing again as a retired pro triathlete. But yeah, Lucy. I mean, she was at the top of the sport for a while and got injured, and she's coming back again. But now with Solveig, like what is that head-to-head going to look like? Obviously, last year in Kona with Taylor and um, Lucy going head-to-head, and then both falling apart and kind of Solveig coming um, taking the win from them. People would say they kind of blew their races, and Solveig kind of just came in and ran her way to victory. But this year's it could be a kind of a three-headed or four with Cat. That'd be kind of cool, a four-person race on the Queen K. So I think yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Lucy's got because Taylor's been racing well, Kat's been racing well, Sovic's been racing well. They all are kind of hitting their stride right now. And can Lucy get there by October? I think she can, but she's obviously a little bit behind where the other three women are at right now.
yeah. I mean, like coming back from a surgery, getting that fitness back. I mean, you know it. Like you're a good example of that, where you take time and then you come back and the fitness comes back. But you're looking at the sport is still taking that turn. And Lucy's been in the sport for a really long time, and even Lucy, like you haven't seen like this really great marathon yet, because she's in front. Like her and Taylor are like perfect for that. And Laura Phillip hasn't shown her cards yet. I don't think she's really raced yet. The one person who I was picking for a podium last year at the World Championship was Julie Duran, because like she looks like she's somebody who can run incredibly well. She's had really great Ironman performances, but never like on a big stage. So I'm gonna be like, that's the one that I'm waiting to see go head to head against some of these big dogs where, yeah, I think she's sitting there quietly, just like building fitness. And I think she could be somebody who could really throw down. She's really small, so aerodynamics are really good. I could see a really great marathon from her coming, but
Yeah.
you don't
I
know until
think
you see it.
I think we did a podcast last year before the race. I think I picked her for my podium last year, but yeah, it just didn't really obviously pan out for her the way we thought or she thought probably.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be fun. I mean, you forget that Lucy won world champs last year, over 70.3, but it's still like that kind of comeback return. So my hot seat person is Gustav. What are your thoughts on that?
Because
Like yeah, like what are your thoughts like with Gustav and you know, 2022 he won Kona, right? And a lot of stuff has happened since then and like do you agree with that pick? Gustav kind of being on that edge of falling off or raising back up?
yeah, I feel like Gustav is like no one ever like said like no one really ever put like the crown on Gustav's head like they do with like Christian or some of the other people in the sport. Like obviously he's won a 70.3 world championship. He's won Kona, but like I think he just kind of always floated under the radar even after he won. So like I don't feel like he ever maybe he put more pressure on himself than anyone else ever did. But I think he surrounds himself obviously with world champions, so it's a tough place to be in, especially when you're not seeing the results and going through kind of what he's been through outside of the sport. So um, yeah, I mean obviously he's tremendously talented and has the tools, but yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't know the answer. It's like I think he at Texas he had a good race. I think he was right there and wasn't too far behind. So I think a few tweaks could get him back to where he needs. But yeah, I don't know what the answer is because he's doing probably the same thing Christian and Casper are doing. It just I don't know what that kind of extra gear, extra tweak he needs to do is. It's just um, yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah. I mean, it does make you question that training program and like that training, when you have those three together and you're thinking it's obviously great because you have, to say three of the best in the world, right? Three in the top 10, whatever. And you're thinking, at what point for one of those athletes is that a real negative? Where like who's the one that's actually suffering from being those three guys? And like, and I'm sure, and I think that Gooseoff is probably the one that suffers from that the most. But he is always really honest with himself publicly and saying, "I'm not in great shape. I'm lucky to get a top 10." And I think he's typically correct when he says something like that. But I also just wonder, like, the year that he won Kona, I'm not going to blame all of his best running on those shoes, right? But that was the year that he had those shoes that had a pretty high stack height, and nobody else had those shoes. And so you just wonder when you normalize things, does he have the ability to kind of get back to that shape? I mean, he was second at Nice last year, but it's still like this upward trajectory. Like, does he have what it takes to take the next step, or or does he not? And I guess we're gonna find out in the next couple months, like with what he shows for fitness.
Yeah, I mean it's and he had a unique advantage at 2019 World Champs when he won 70.3 Worlds with his road bike. I mean, some would say advantage, some would say whatever. So yeah, kind of interesting that his two world champs had some unique outliers, but yeah, obviously tremendous athlete. Be interesting to see. And I think he's one of those athletes as well, like we were talking about Gulf Coast, like a Trevor Foley, like not really
Mm.
caring about peaking April, May right now. Kind of all eyes. He's got his Kona slot already he validated. I mean that's kind of why he went to Texas is to validate. Um, but obviously did the same training as Casper, did the same training as Christian. But maybe yeah, like you said, maybe he is a little bit overreaching in that training, trying to do what they're doing, not really on the same exact levels they are right now, and maybe he can get there by October and not be overcooked.
Yeah.
Maybe he was a little overcooked going into Texas.
You mentioned Trevor's name, and when I hear Trevor's name in this year, and I think like what you're seeing from him this year, I mean, I think last year was a pretty bad year, but this year he looks like a different athlete. I mean, I could literally see Trevor winning Kona this year. I don't know, like there's something the way that he rides his bike, he's improving his swim, and just the way that he runs. I mean, the way that he looked in New Zealand, I'm thinking if that dude stays on track, I could see him winning Kona. I don't know. It's just something I think about. I think you could.
Do you remember Sam Laidlow? I
No,
feel like no one's talked about
no,
Sam Laidlow.
no. He won his
What's
first
that guy up to?
70.3. I mean, the fact that he won
Yeah,
his first 70.3 is like that guy's a chump. There's no way he's going to
yeah,
be back in fitness. That was a joke,
yeah,
everybody. That was a joke. That was a total joke.
yeah.
You didn't even go on Mike Trevor comment. You just didn't want to touch it. You think it's a stupid
No,
take.
I, I think Trevor's yeah, he's a great athlete. Yeah, I just don't know. I would have loved to see him race at Texas and just see like where his caliber was at with those guys on the day. But I think I mean, maybe that's kind of the strategy he's playing is like don't show your cards until the big day, and kind of fly under the radar per se.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see yeah where his fitness is at when he does show it.
I mean, I feel like the only American that you really root for is Taylor Nim. I feel like any other American, you're just like, they're not in
I
that
think
same.
he's the best American male long course athlete for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I had this internal belief that he was jogging New Zealand's marathon, just the way that he looked. I think he just looked like, yeah, it'd be fun. It'd be fun. I don't know when he's racing again. Maybe, I think he's racing that half on the East Coast, Happy Valley. That'll be fun to kind of see how he does. And then Yellow Geens is also kind of like on the hot spot a little bit where, it's interesting, right? Like he has like this coach, right? And he coached Patrick Lang. He's like really big time coach. And then his coach says, we talked about this last time, he can run 225 or something like that at Texas, and doesn't even finish. And then he's talking like in his podcast and his YouTube about how he really underestimated what was to come. I'm like, what do you mean you underestimated what was to come? Like, this is why you have people guiding you to make sure that you're doing like what's needed and preparing you for that. And it just felt like maybe he thought it was going to be easier than what he thought. And I'm like, you picked the easiest Ironman to do and you underestimated it. And now you're going to go to Placid and like it just like the thinking on that was kind of mind blowing after the fact. Like, yeah, I had a tough time listening to that one because I didn't quite grasp it fully.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, if he would have finished the race, I think he still probably would have ran like a 2:38 or something or two high
Yeah.
30. But I think going to Lake Placid, I think it takes away, obviously the field, the caliber of the field changes, like takes away some of that pressure, takes away some time pressure. Like don't even think about your run time, just go out and beat the field, take your whatever you need the slot to get to Kona. So I think it takes away a lot of expectations, takes away a lot of that pressure, external pressure, and just like go out and like listen to your body instead of like go out and get to the front of the race, basically, like he did it on at Texas. So I think it will suit him better. I think he'll just like yeah be more of an internal race versus like an external pressure to just be where you're supposed to be kind of thing. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see when he a race that he does that's not such a hyped race with Christian Blumenfeld and those guys racing.
Yeah. I mean, you did Placid. You did hell good at Placid. I mean, like if you were coaching Yellow, like what would you tell him? Like, yo, you need to be doing this if you want to take down the guys that are showing up there. I mean, like, yeah. What would you say?
Yeah, I mean those downhills, bombing those downhills. I mean technical. I mean that, and then just the strength on that second loop of each of the loops of the bike and the run course. I mean that second loop of the bike course. I mean that eats you up. Like I read those the first loop of the bike pretty strong, and then the second loop, just like that last 15 miles of the bike course, like just a grind. I remember racing with Danielle Lewis and Jackie on the second loop, and Danielle Lewis went over her bars, and Jackie and I were kind of going up the second loop, and just I kept looking behind me, and I was just like grinding, like just watching my power. 'Cause it's like just a slow, steady grind, and just for like 15, 20 miles, so like the last like I don't know 35, 40 minutes, and just kind of just slowly drains your legs before the run. And the run's not easy by any means. So yeah, it's just a grinder of a course versus obviously Texas. Texas is obviously a different beast. You say an easy course to go fast at, but I don't. I think most people would say it's a little not an easy course to go fast at. Technically, yes, as far as like the look of it, but the way people bike there and the conditions, you see a lot of blowups going on. So, but yeah, Placid. I mean, it's the times aren't as quick, but um, I mean, for sure as hell the guys rode pretty quickly there. I think I rode just about 5 hours. I think maybe just over
Yeah.
5 hours, and ran like 306 or 308 or something. But
I mean,
yeah.
how long, like how many miles was Jackie sitting on your wheel at Placid? Like, what were you saying?
No, I was riding between Danielle and Jackie.
Yeah.
Legally, I don't have a race ranger coming to age group soon, supposedly. I saw
Yeah.
that article posted. But yeah, Danielle was in front of me, and all of a sudden we took a sharp turn, and Danielle goes over her. She actually won the race that day. Um, and then yeah, so Jackie and I started the marathon together, and I dropped some nutrition, and then I never saw Jackie again. She ran
Yeah.
had a good run that day.
Jackie, I'm just kidding. I love you. We love you. Just fully kidding. Okay. So, shout out to the woman pod that she's starting, the women's race. So cool. All right, let's move on. This is a big topic.
Yep.
Okay. I'm sure we're going to spend hours here talking about this. So, the Lion has went back to McCall, finished Texas, and he blamed it on outside riding. He said inside riding, not as good, outside riding, and aerobically, he's not fit and all these things. And he said he's lazy and was riding 7 hours a week. And then a lot was said, like a lot was said. We need to get into that. And then he's going back to McCall Eden, right? And people were saying he didn't have great results under McCall. But then if you listen to what he was doing, basically after when he took second at the St. George World Championships, he basically went off the rails as Lionel does, overtrained himself to death, started training with Colin, who's on EPO, not sure of the timeline, but we know that he was, and they ran those two into the ground. And so the question is why is he going back to McCall? One question is like, why isn't he going back to David, Tilbury Davis, when he took second at Kona with David? I think the whole situation makes sense, but there's questions of why. So I don't know, like, where do you want to start with this whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, you're I'd say the resident Lionel lover of the group here. Like,
Thank you.
where do you want to start?
I'm
Um, I
I think it's a good thing. I think the big thing is he always talks about Iron Man, and you just know, I mean, we all know, right? All of us Lionel lovers, like we know that he's not going to be great in Iron Man.
yeah, can I ask you a question first?
Sure.
Does it
Yeah.
matter? Does it matter
Does what matter?
if he takes a coach, if he doesn't have a coach, if he goes to any coach, does it matter? Is he ever going to be Lionel Sanders again?
Yeah, 100%.
So there's an opportunity for him to be back to relevant in
You
long
know,
distance triathlon.
here's the problem with you American age groupers that it's like you have short-term memory of what he did recently, okay? It wasn't that long ago that he demolished, the great Magnus Ditlev and he won at Oceanside last year. And it's like people like you that you just forget. You forget what the Lion has done. And all of a sudden, but does it matter? Does it matter for Iron Man? No. Like when is the last good Iron Man he's done? Every hot race he goes to, he doesn't do well in an Iron Man. Like, is it good for social media and all of us consumers? Yeah. Like it's amazing. Is he going to go back and demolish 70.3? Yeah. But I just want him to stop. Like I know he wants to conquer Iron Man, but it's he's never going to fulfill that because that boat is gone. Like those top guys are just better. Like they run better, they bike similar, but they swim like it. No chance. But half Ironman, dude, go all in, go full, trying to get a world championship in a half Ironman. But Ironman, I'm just not seeing it. But it's exciting. Like it's good. I'm glad he's
Yeah.
doing it. You know, I
Yeah.
mean,
So I agree on the distance wise. I think, yeah, the Ironman, I think we saw it. I mean, whether even if he biked better at Texas, I think, I mean, just that run, like, it's just not going to be up to caliber for that distance. I mean, and the swim just like puts him so far back that um, just to improve that much in that swim, like it'll just the amount of effort it'll take to become that much of a better swimmer is going to take away from his bike and his run, and it just yeah put you behind the ball there. So maybe he should go to T100,
yeah, yeah. Well, he's not going
come
to get
back to
paid. He's
his
not going to get paid. So what's the point of going
yeah
there? So he's just going to
yeah
be get there for the social media aspect of that. But I mean, I think like McCall. But again, it's like David got him to second, you know,
yeah.
and but a lot of times when he talks on YouTube about that relationship, it's never positive. Like it's never like a positive discussion, even though it got him a great result. Like so there must be something in that relationship where he just doesn't want to go back to it. And I mean, it has like the thing that I think that pulls toward McCall, like there must have been like a special bond there or a special relationship that state keeps him there. Um, I mean, like, I guess, like, do you have any thoughts on that? Like, of like, of that side of it?
Yeah, for sure. I think, yeah, I mean, I think I don't know the ins and outs of like a relationship of obviously like this athlete and their coach, but like a Daniela Reef and Sutton, like
Mm.
he got her to a level of obviously stardom and world championships, but I don't think she'd ever like say she was still in the sport. I don't think she'd ever go back and like, oh, that's a great coach, like a great person. I may go back to him and coach them again. Like I think that relationship didn't end well. Maybe it did end well, but I don't think she'd ever look back and say if I was going to go back to a coach, I'd pick that guy. Um, as just a person in a relationship. So I think maybe Lionel, yeah, to your point, like didn't have the best personal relationship. So I think he's winding down his career and he's looking back like I'm gonna make a decision of what I want to do. It's like, do I want to be happy and enjoy this, or do I want to like strictly like be all business. So I think,
Hmm.
yeah, I think at this point in his career and having a family and having a child and kind of making decisions more with the heart of a lion, as you'd say, versus just kind of strictly with kind of his legs versus his brain.
Yeah. And I just thought about this. I think I mean, I think he says why is he said that, and you saw it in in like the Kona videos where they're always together, where McCall was always pushing against him. Like he just wasn't saying, yeah, yeah, like this is it. Like you're right, you're right. Like I think McCall was like the one person who was actually not they weren't butting heads, but he was definitely not letting him always agree to what Lionel was making himself up in his head to like believe. And I think like maybe that's the reason why is that he knows that McCall is going to tell him the reality of the situation versus like his yes men that Lionel says that he has, that everything's like yes. So, um, but yeah, and then it's an interesting aspect too, where he also calls himself lazy a lot, where like you find the path of least resistance, where you couldn't like I have a hard time believing that he was actually riding 7 hours a week, leading into Texas. Like I have a really hard time believing that his bike volume was that low. I mean, that's low. I mean, you ride more than that. Like most age groupers ride more than that. And yeah, so I don't know. I mean, he needed something, so I'm glad that he made a change because yeah, not good. But then it's like we talk about like he lives in Tucson, like he has Sam Long there. It's like why don't those two train together? Right? It's like, Sam put out his big hurrah about let me coach you. And I'm gonna say like I listened to that Sam Long interview on the triathlon hour and I had to turn it off. Like I just because he's like, well, I do the Norwegian method and I've been doing it longer than those guys have. And but then the more he talks about it, it's like he just does a lot of random shit, but he
Yeah.
trains a lot. And I'm like, I don't think Sam really has any idea of what he's doing. And yeah, I'm just curious, like those two great environment, and then I mean I can go on and on about this, but I'll let you talk for a little bit before I get too heated.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you, to your point about Sam and Lionel, why wouldn't you utilize that stimulus and chase, use each other like Christian and Gustav and those guys do, Casper. Um, and what, I mean, all the indoor, I love indoor training as well, like Zwift and the treadmill, but like, why wouldn't you? I mean, you're in Tucson, there's decent roads there to get outside, like take advantage of that and take advantage of Sam, a younger athlete that you could sit behind and chase and especially now, like do something different. So
I mean, do you think it's like ego? Do you think it's just like ego that they don't want to, like they say that they're going to put themselves into the ground, with how hard they train. But then again, like if they're looking to make change, like both of those two are pretty stagnant. Like they need to do something different. And like I'm surprised that Lionel doesn't go somewhere like Boulder or somewhere where there is more people to train with and just get outside and have more safe riding instead of always sitting at home, in Tucson. That could be something as well. But yeah, yeah.
yeah, I
Even
mean, there's not a lot of athletes with sustained success in the sport or any sport without coaches. I
yeah.
don't really know any off the top of my head in triathlon that haven't had a coach that have sustained success. Like Sam will win 70.3s here and there, or like the Flurry the other year, like was it 2 years ago? He won like three or four to start the year. The year he started working with Dan the off season, then he quit working with Dan Blues, and kind of started on his own. Um, that was the year he won like three 70.3s to start the year, and then he kind of faded after that. But yeah, I don't know any athlete that like pro athlete that like you're just so involved, like just yeah, there's so much that to think about that you shouldn't be thinking about as an athlete. Like, just take it off your plate and just have somebody else think about that. Because you just always want to do more. You always want to do this. You always want to do that. And if somebody else could take that outsider view, and I think I fall into that trap as well. I mean, I've self-coached and for the last couple of years, and I fall into that trap of wanting to do bigger and better and looking at things. So I think it's always nice to have the outside perspective of things and someone else telling you, hey, this is what you should be doing, or this is why, or it's easy to tell somebody else versus to tell yourself that.
Yeah. I mean, I feel
So
like
yeah, I don't
self-coaching.
get it.
Go
I
ahead.
don't I don't get why Lionel Sam like yeah, get a coach, stick with a coach, like Simple as that. Like,
Yeah, I mean it's and it's like when they're in that rhythm of it, like they I mean, like with self-coaching where like probably spend more time excited to build the plan, but then you spend more time second guessing the plan, right? Versus just like having the interaction of like the progression through it. And I mean, you see it both times with both of those two, where once they come off the plan, man, they freaking hit rock bottom, and then even Sam made that YouTube video about how this year he's going to go full in on training. He's going to do less social media. He's going to do less of this, but he's going to go full in on training. I'm like, why don't you go full in on, dedicating yourself with somebody who can make you better, right? But again, like I think that Sam fully believes that what he's doing is the best thing for him, which is good, but I think it's also his biggest downfall, versus you think you're so far above everybody else that you don't need guidance from somebody and you know it all. But it's like, when he won his world championships, he was being trained by Ryan Bolton, like in that. But either way, so yeah. Okay, let's go on to T100. I want to touch this a little bit. So I'm just gonna put it out there. Like, how much longer do you think T100 is gonna be around?
I mean, how much money do they have sitting around in the bank still? I mean, obviously all the checks that they didn't cash yet for the athletes, but besides that,
I mean, the fact that they're not paying athletes, and maybe they are, but it takes a long time, months and months and months. Like,
yeah, I saw that
how
they're by the end of the month they're going to pay out from last year's races
But
and
how is that a
checks,
good
but
sign? Like, how is that a good sign that that thing is in a good place? And I feel like ever since, what was it, Daytona? It wasn't even the PTO then, but like I feel like every year, the last 3 years, every decision they've made has been bad. Like every decision they made has actually moved them further back, and every year they keep saying next year is the year that it's going to be great. We're gonna make the sport so much bigger. Like they stopped the Collins Cup and then they opened up like 5 races and they're going to have like this big narrative, throughout the year. And then they didn't get that, and then that was a failure. And then the next year they did contracts and athletes weren't fulfilling contracts, and then this year we're going to split the genders up. And that's been a bad decision. Like it's a terrible decision, like what happened when Iron Man split genders for world championships? Like it was a disaster, Like, yeah, in some aspects it was great because they got more exposure. But when you're splitting genders in general, like you want both of them together in the same area. And it's like they're losing viewership. They're not paying athletes. Apparently Sam's an amazing fundraiser and they have this billionaire who's funding it. But every decision they're making, like I don't understand where they're coming with these decisions. Like it's just been from in my eyes, like they're just every year is worse and worse and worse. And then next year they're supposed to have like all these challenge races and all this commentary. And I'm like, you guys need to stop. Like, give me 3 races, make them great, make them $1 million races, and that's it. Like just give us 3 great races. And then I also hate when he comes on and talks about, well, you know, it's like we need to have history and we need to have like Wimbledon and like these races. And I'm like, you haven't had like what, a Singapore or Wimbledon? Nobody goes to single. Like so much they've done this wrong, and I just wish that they would change this ship because it's hard to watch something that could be so good just be so bad. And yeah, I don't know. My rant's
yeah,
over.
I mean, yeah, the gender split this year, I mean, it's a terrible decision. I was looking at numbers from last year and like it was a 2-day event last year in Singapore. On the men's day, they had about 80,000 streams on the YouTube, and the women's had about 74,000. So you get 150,000 between the 2 days. This year they had 65,000, obviously 1-day event.
Hmm.
Ironman Texas, 580,000 streams. So like far and above like giants that race. So like just Ironman compared to T100. I mean, just obviously Ironman's Texas within the United States, so there's a little different viewing areas. But even just like Gold Coast was like 60,000 viewers this year. Like obviously London last year was a big T100 event. It had like 100,000 streams. But still compared to like Oceanside this year was like 260,000. So like Ironman's crushing T100 from a viewership standpoint. from a branding standpoint, from a obviously age group standpoint. Like I don't I don't know any of my friends or anyone who's gone to a T100 event and participated in a T100 event. I don't even know if they're still doing age group events. I know they tried for a while and they're like begging people to come to events. Like, but yeah, it just, I mean, I don't understand it either. And I think the other pulling at strings down, combining with WTS and Roth and whatnot and challenge, like trying what they can do. But like at some point, the money's going to run out. Well,
Yeah.
maybe, but
But like,
I
what do
think
they need
Iron
to
Man's, yeah,
do? You know what I mean? It's like in your eyes, like if they go next year, right? It's like how do they make it better? Eh, I mean, is it opening up more people, for pros to do it? Is it better? Like, my mind goes back to the prize money, while big, feels soft. Like the races in the beginning, you knew like, wow, this is $100,000, right? Or whatever it was. And there's excitement behind that. And while, yeah, the pros are getting paid, like what Taylor made 50K for the race she did in Gulf Coast, like that's great money. But it's not exciting. Like there's nothing exciting about that. Like you can't advertise that. Like I think you need to make drama amongst the race. And you do that, and you're gonna get everybody there. Everybody. And now they get some people, but I don't know. There's just no excitement there. And for me, like I don't feel any excitement watching it.
yeah. And I think, I mean, the US is one of the biggest viewerships for triathlon. And what do we have? One race here, maybe if that for T100, like San Francisco, I think this year, maybe. Um, if that, like, got to bring it more to the US, make it more of a US driven, I think, as well. Like going to Singapore, like I get it. There's a lot of money there. Going to like the Middle East, there's a lot of money, but like there's no viewership there. Like, um, I'm not gonna get up and watch a race at 1 a.m. like here. So I think yeah, there's just a lot of money chasing. When it's funded by equity like that, they're just gonna chase the money. And Ironmans, I mean, they're a little bit different, but they're also funded as well by different equity companies. But yeah, I think Ironman's sitting pretty. Obviously, they have the age group to back them. People just still sign up for races, so I don't think they're in any trouble. I think yeah, T100 invented a distance, and it was cool for a year. They threw out a lot of prize money for the first year, and I was at that first Daytona race. I think it was before PTO even, but at that Challenge Daytona race when I think Gustav won that first $100,000 race. Um, yeah, it was pretty cool, but then it faded fast, just like was that Clash
Mm.
Daytona. The whole Clash thing faded pretty quickly as well.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
It's interesting. It's like
but yeah,
I almost feel like if people don't understand it, it's like I mean, obviously people understand Ironman and they understand half Ironman racing, but it's almost like WTS racing, like draft legal, where I feel like there was a huge rage, like they're the best athletes in the world and they're the fastest. But at the core of it, none of us really understand it. And while you can say, yeah, they're incredibly fast, but you need to like it's still so new and it's always changing and evolving. Where I think if they just learn how to sit in one place and make those events great, then you're going to draw that attention, right? And I just feel like nobody understands the distance and nobody understands what they're trying to do because they keep trying to do new things and change things versus, like I said, just give us three great races and just put so much hype behind it, and people will then want to go to those races because they've seen it enough. But yeah, it's like when you put your race
yeah,
in front of Singapore and the people there spectating aren't even there for the race, they're just walking around. Like that doesn't count. Like that's not real spectating stuff.
yeah. I think their hope was like the short course athletes would come up to T100, but a lot of it they're kind of skipping over that now, coming up to the 70.3 distance, and now they're even hopping up into the Ironman distance. Like they're kind of skipping the T100. I mean, there's plenty of people that are racing the T100, but there's a lot of athletes just are going straight from short course now into the 70.3, which is obviously great for the Ironman distance and bad news for the straight Ironman athletes.
Yep.
There's not really an It's hard to just be an Ironman athlete anymore. Like I'm at Hanson. It's hard just to be a straight like Ironman's my thing anymore.
Yeah.
um, and be successful.
Those guys are insane. Like it's like every year, like you see some of those people come in and they're just like so amazing, like Pierre Lacour in that same aspect, New Zealand. I know it wasn't a great day, but like, man, that guy, when he gets it and he gets stronger, it's going to be pretty crazy. But then again, like you see like Trevor Foley, like he's made that jump and I mean, he's a rare breed, so yeah, cool. All right. So you ran a marathon. Yay, nay. Like, how do you come off of that? Like, what was your time? Let's put it this way.
It was like 2:43, 46 or something, something around there, 2:43 high.
Was that a success or was it not a success? Did you like what's how do you process that post?
Yeah, I'd say like I had a plan going into the race. Like the best case scenario is like 2:35, worst case scenario is like 2:40, 2:43, 2:44. So kind of worst case scenario for me. Um, I think. I mean, still, yeah, still PR. So you got to take what the day gives you, and I think I gave it 100% of what my body had. So like, I was proud of how I finished, and proud of like not slowing down, as not kind of giving up as far as like energy and mental side of it. So I have a lot I've taken away from the race as far as positives, like um, just kind of that side of it. But as far as like execution, um, even during my warm up for the day, like heart rate was super high. Like I was running like 8 minute mile warm up 8:30s and like heart rate is like in the 155, 160 almost, which is obviously super high for me. That's where I was planning to start the marathon at. Um, I think it's a combination of maybe just some like pollen or allergies or just like super high adrenaline. I also did like I've used it before, but like the Morton bicarb
Hmm.
system. I've used it before, but I don't know if that contributed by any means. But um, and just like one of the main factors too, like which affected me like later on in the race was like I do 95% of my running on the treadmill. Um, my legs just don't get beat up very often, and when I go outside, just like my T bands, my quads just got shattered by like mile 16. And I knew I didn't do any hill training, and Eau Claire is a pretty hilly area. So like every time I saw a hill, I was like, oh shit. So I definitely got torn up by the hills, up hills and down hills. So like, um, yeah, I started off at like a 2:37 pace, finished pace, and like my heart rate is like 175, one high 170 to start the race, and I'm like, it'll come down. Didn't come down, and they just kind of held on. Like I didn't feel terrible. Like I could see my heart rate was high and like I was exerting a lot of energy, but like I was like, I can just keep hanging on, just keep hanging on one more
Hmm.
mile. I actually use like the Garmin Pro Pace strategy. I never really used it before. Like it just kind of gives you you can kind of play with it before the race. Like I want a negative split, I want a positive split the race, and like you can play like I want to go slower up hills or faster up hills, and so I kind of had it be a little a negative split a little bit, and so it tells you each mile what you should be running, and I kind of stuck with that and just kind of I hung on for 10, 11 miles and but I was at my limit for sure and took a porta potty stop at like mile 13. That kind of just took me out of my rhythm and yeah, the wheels just started to fall off and six
Did
minute
that
miles turned to like
did the bathroom stop reset your heart rate at all? Like did the bathroom stop bring or did it just get back up to where it was after the
it yeah, it came right back up
dang?
as soon as I started running again. And I was running alone the whole day too. I mean, it's not a huge race. I think there's like 1,000 marathon participants. There's a ton and a half, but um, and so yeah, I was running alone most of the day, and yeah, heart rate went back up. Um, 6 minutes turned to 6:15s, and then we kind of headed back home. There's a headwind, so my heart rate finally came down below 160 or 170. Sorry, it was like 168. I was like, yeah. But that's like really when the quads and IT bands were struggling, and then I started just running one like 6:20s and 6:30s, and started doing the math in your head, like, all right, if I run 6:20s for 6 miles, like it's like about whatever. And I started doing the pace, like, can I run under 2:45? Can I run under 2:44? And um, then the half marathoners started passing me, the first guy, second guy, third guy. And yeah, it was painful, but again, takeaways, got a PR. Um, need to run outside more. I know obviously that's a learning experience. I'm gonna add some different things to my strength training, some different drills and stuff, and yeah, just more time outside, some different things. So, but good to get out racing again. I think I did that half back in February. I think my heart rate average was higher for this race than I did for the half, which is kind of I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but um, Garmin said I did a VO2 max workout for the marathon, which is always fun to see.
2.5 hour
But
VO2
yeah,
max workout.
yeah. So it's a ChatGPT told me I was durable. Um, so yeah,
Wouldn't
it's
that be the opposite of what was displayed? That you're not quite like marathon durable?
it will tell me I was tough and I had good
Oh,
mental toughness and durability there. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
yeah.
Huge. So, like fueling for a marathon. Like how much did you fuel during the race? Like what did you take in? Like do you remember how many calories you were taking during?
Yeah, I mean my plan kind of went off the rails a little bit just because like my exertion was a little bit high. So I had a plan was I had a I used Morton gels and like Morton drink and plan was like four 160 Morton gels,
Hmm.
um, two caffeinated 100 Morton gels throughout the whole race. I think I only took like three of the 160 gels and maybe one or two of the caffeine gels. And I was just sipping on my drink most of the race. I had a little handheld bottle. I think I made it through like half the race. So I think I probably took in like 80 to 100 grams per hour maybe.
Hmm.
Um, but I tried to, I mean, I really stopped thinking about it just because my exertion level. So I was trying to take in more than I probably needed to. Um, but like my plan, I was planning like every 4 miles to take a 160 gel, every 4 to 5 miles. So like 100, yeah, 80 to 100, 80 to 110 per hour for the marathon. That was the plan going into it.
It's awesome to hear though. That you're that even like what you took in, I think is high for what most people I think would imagine taking in for that. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice to see triathletes going into running races and actually consuming an appropriate amount of carbs versus like I think what marathoners do. My perception is they underfuel big time off of that. And so like we were talking
Yeah.
about tapering going into it, like you think your taper might have been a little bit off.
Yeah, I think I felt super flat the last like week and a half of the race, and like I backed off. I was running like I think I maxed out at 70 miles for running, and like this last week I think I did like 40, 42 miles, and um, including the marathon. So
Mm,
I've always raced really well back to back like 70.3 weekends, like the second 70.3 of the run. So I think I just really my body adjusts well off of like some fatigue, just like recovering a little quicker than most people. So I think I might just like for the next race, whatever that might be, just kind of um, do a lot shorter taper, maybe like a 3 or 4 day taper versus like 7 or 8 days or a 10-day taper, and just see how that goes. And obviously not crush myself, but just not back off as much. And um, funny story, I was running with the guy. I did a little scouting before the race and saw the wintertime from last year and saw him at the start line and I was like, oh yeah. And I started running with him and he's like, these four guys took off in front of us. I'm like, oh, it's a little quicker race this year because these guys are way ahead of us. And I look at this guy after he ran a 2:37
mm.
and took like I think fourth or fifth and um, but he ran 6.5 miles the next day. I was like, dude, how you running 6.5 miles the next day after this race? I could barely get off the toilet. But he's running 75 miles a week. He ran 8 miles the day before the marathon, 6.5 miles a day after the marathon. So like some people are just built to like run and like it just doesn't take it out of them as much. But for me, like I just yeah, so I need to adjust my taper and my outdoor running a little bit more before the next event that I do.
That is pretty crazy to think, can you imagine running 8 miles before your marathon day? Like that
It is
feels
at like
like,
7 minute pace too.
yeah, I don't know if that's a good thing or ill-informed, but I mean, he still ran a great marathon, or he's a very good runner. But like, that's a pretty good amount of running before. I mean, yeah, yeah. Well, well, cool. Well, good stuff. So,
Ironman, Ironman Texas, how'd it go?
oh, we're gonna talk about Texas. I'm not gonna give a full debrief, but
Yeah.
you know, I, yeah. So Texas, I would give it like a B minus in terms of a performance. It's like you know as much as anybody. I mean, like you have these days of like you have like these ups and downs throughout the race, and I was in the swim and I felt awesome. Like I thought I was swimming so strong. Like I felt strong throughout, non-wetsuit, all these things. And I get to the end of the swim, I get out and I look up and it says 108. Like I almost stopped my race immediately. I'm like 108? Like really? Like I don't think I can swim. Like if I go to the pool and I swim 145 yards. Like, I don't think I could swim a 145 in the pool, right? I said, how did I swim that pace? And I was like, okay, whatever. And I get rolling. And well, the one thing too is I lined myself up in the 1 hour to 105 because I knew I'd swim around that. And so then I get out of the water, start biking, and all these like pretty a good amount of groups in front of me, like bike groups. And right away I'm like, shit, I missed the boat, because like there were a lot of people ahead of me. And I'm thinking, man, I must have swam really bad. But either way, so I wasn't thinking that negative, truthfully, in the race. I was just started riding, felt great, good power, rolling through. Wasn't around a lot of people, passing people. And then, yeah, I mean, I rode a lot of that by myself. I mean, I caught some people and some people caught me. The guy who won my age group went past me on the bike. And I was probably pushing like 220 at the time. And he came past me. I couldn't believe how fast he went past me. And like sometimes like, oh, I'll try to go with that. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this dude. And I looked later, he rode 414 and he ran
Wow.
like 3:03 flat or like through he's from Norway. He's like it says Bergen Tri Club. I'm like, it's probably Christian's father. And just kidding, because I'm 40. And either way, so end of the bike. I mean, the bike went really good. Like I PR'd my bike. The weather was fine, no big deal. Nutrition went really good. And I went 447, which I was really happy with. And I get off the bike and we got dumped on of rain toward the end. And get off the bike and I'm like running and it stops raining. And I'm like, whoa, I feel really bad. Like my head, everything felt bad. I'm like, oh, what's going on here? Look at my heart rate. I was like, okay, 155. It's like right where I want to run it at. My pacing was like 730, but I felt bad. And then, for like, I'm running and all of a sudden I hear the announcer, the leaders are coming through 17 miles. I'm like, sick. Like, the leaders are going to pass me. Like, this is going to be sweet. And so I'm running like through the park area. It's all twisty, and we come out of it, and then Martin comes past me, and I'm like amped. And I'm like, okay. So I run with him briefly. Okay, I just want to be very clear, briefly, like 30 meters. I ran with him, hoping that I could like get on
Yeah.
the camp. I didn't. They didn't get me. And then Christian comes past, and I'm like in disbelief, right? Because like they're 18 miles into the run, and they're flying, like they are literally flying, and I'm thinking, wow, this is amazing. And then, yeah, so like I'm consuming, I have a bottle and I'm consuming and consuming my raw. And then right around lap two, I start to feel pretty decent. I'm like, okay, like now I feel good. Now I'm just gonna hold this pace. And then all of a sudden I just got like my stomach got in like full distress. Like I couldn't like consume anything. Like I think if I took a sip of raw, like I was gonna vomit. And I think I've done enough of these to know like once your stomach goes, like your race is gonna be pretty much shot. And things went downhill. Then all of a sudden I bonked, no doubt bonked. And then I ran with Kobe and Nick and run. They were super helpful, got me through that race. But I mean, I finished 9:55 or 9:57, something like that. So it wasn't terrible. So like most of the race was really good. I just bonked or overheated. I don't quite know what led to the overheating and bonk because it wasn't that hot. It was humid. I did a lot of heat prep, so I was pretty shocked with that. But then I look back at the results, and my swim time of like a 108 was still one of the fastest swimmers, like in the top five of my age group. And I'm like, okay, well that makes me feel better, right? It wasn't that bad. And then a lot of them rode faster, a little quicker, but everybody who beat me outside that Norwegian dude all started ahead of me. So I'm thinking, I mean, I'm not like disrespectful toward it. A lot of those guys were probably like within those draft packs, because they started ahead of me. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not like dissatisfied with it. I mean, sub 10 was good. Nowhere near what I thought it was, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not like overthinking it. It was like an above average day. It wasn't a great day, but it was like an above average day. We'll put it at that. So,
It's only April
yeah,
and
it's
you're
only
fit.
April. Yeah, I don't know what to do. What should I do next? I don't even know I don't
What's
know.
next?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Take the
Uh,
Trevor Foley method and or the Ellie Gaines method of it. Go to
like
Lake Placid and
I'm not
test
going
it
to
out there.
I'm not going to Placid. I mean, I've thought about like fall races, but I don't know what. Like I don't know. Like I think I walked away from this race thinking, as harsh as it sounds, like I wasn't as fit as what I thought, and that really pisses me off. Like it really pisses me off. So I almost want to
What
like
what signs tell you that?
I'm trying to have an emotional response and not like a logical response. You gotta let me be emotional through this. Like I just wasn't good enough. I don't know, like I felt like running, maybe I wasn't as fit running, so I want to spend some time and try to get like a lot better running down, like running speed and target just trying to become a better like 5K, 10K runner to get quicker through that. Uh I don't know, like I just want to revisit more speed threshold-esque type of training this summer and maybe jump into some local tri-series stuff, maybe do like Door County short stuff. But I got to have something this fall. I don't know what it is, right? I mean, obviously Wisconsin's never on the table. I can't do that. But I want to find something this fall and try to do it. But again, it's like as you know, right? The summer coaching and training is just like insane because like we're all so busy during this time. So I'm not going to commit to anything yet, but I have things in the back of my mind that I'm not going to talk about, but there's things back there that I'm thinking about. So yeah, we'll
Same
see.
here. Same here.
Yeah, not the
I
same
had
race
I
you're
had
doing. Not the same race you're doing. I'll tell you that right now. So,
I had a very emotional response to my race too, and but
ooh,
I'm just logically I'm playing it off as it was a muscular failure, not like a systematic like a fitness failure for my marathon. So I think I'm fit. I think I'm in good running shape right now, hopefully. I think it was just like a muscular like need to run outside more, which
yeah.
hopefully I can fix in the next like 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10
And
weeks.
I think a lot of people forget. I'm not saying that you forgot, but like an open marathon, when you're running as fast as you are, I think it's one of the hardest events, right? Just because it's so demanding, glycogen, physical, where like you didn't have a bad race, but like I think it's just really, really hard.
And just from the go, like not having like I should have like just done like a 2 hour bike ride before.
Hmm.
Just bike to the race for do some intervals and
Yeah.
an Ironman. Like I don't know. I don't think I know how to properly warm up for a marathon. I did like mile and a half. Like I asked like Patrick Brady what he did for. He had a really good race at like Houston. Probably not as good as he wanted, but obviously he ran like a 2:25 or something like there. He's like, yeah, do it like a mile and a half, like 10 minutes easy, and then some strides, and like just ease in the first mile, 3 miles instead of like do like a real good warm up. But I didn't really ease in. I just went for it. But I think I did
Yeah.
like 5:40, 5:48 the first mile or something. But yeah, so
But I mean, the higher heart rate definitely signals that the taper was too much for like your training load, for your heart rate to jack that quickly with, I mean, the high reduction it definitely indicated that. So, yeah, cool.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, this has been good. Next week, we're going to talk all things Chattanooga, hopefully record earlier so we can talk about the race and the course. We're both familiar with it. So, but yeah, thanks for chatting and we'll talk next week.